Hello, everybody. We have Hyperdocs today. So I will have the link to these Hyperdocs slides. Okay, so I've added the bit.ly here. It is cap sensitive. If you can take a moment and type in the bit.ly/2UEHEH9, you should have these slides. Once you get these slides open, if you look down here, and you can move this little bar, it makes those links pop up a little more. You can access all the links. So the first one that I want you to go ahead and you could just watch the slides and then open them, but there's the basic template, and you can go to File, Make a Copy, and be able to type in the basic template that I've shared with you. So what is a Hyperdoc? Hyperdoc is more than just it's more than just having a Google Doc with the hyperlinks on it. That's just more of a resource. That's more of a consumption of information on the student's part. What you want to create is an interactive tool to help students learn content in a led environment that encourages them to collaborate, problem solve, create, share, and reflect on their learning. So the real important piece here is they're applying, creating, sharing, reflecting. Those are kind of the important pieces. If you create a Hyperdoc, you should be able to share it out with your class, and you should be able to put that out and not have to post anything for at least 2 weeks. You still want to stay in connection with your students. I would still provide a way for you to collect work that they're working on, and we're going to talk about that and also give them feedback as they go. Why a Hyperdoc? So this is going to increase peer interaction. It's meaningful integration of technology. So it's not just consuming, they're creating, they're sharing, they're collaborating. Connects them to real world opportunities. Teachers are in communication with kids, and it gets them engaged. So the first thing, very top of your Hyperdoc, is your engagement. How are you going to hook them in? Put your essential question here, and then choose a YouTube video that's something pretty engaging, an infographic or an image, something to prompt them to want to learn about this topic more. So this is where you hook them. The next one would be the Explore. This is your direct instruction piece. What links do they need to articles, images, online textbook content? This would be a good place for Desmos or Delta Math if you're a math teacher. So this would be, they're exploring, they're practicing, they're learning in this component. So this is mostly consumption. Then they have to explain what they learned. What I know now that I did not know before. So they can summarize it. This could be done through a back channel, posting things on Padlet, sharing on a Google Doc, commenting in Google Classroom, could collect those through a Google form, or maybe they put something in Flipgrid. Then you move on to the apply. This is the application, the creation of using technology to make something. So the infographic, I like to use Canva or Adobe Spark. Create a website. Google Sites is super easy to use. Weebly is also very easy to use. They could create slides and then record them talking through the slides and then post them to Google Classroom or post them to a Padlet so everyone else can see them. Write with evidence and share details. So maybe this is a research essay. Having them share. So Flipgrid is a space where they can share. If you shared your Google slides, each kid creates their own slide and has access to view. Everyone can view and edit those slides. So every kid would be only responsible for one slide. In this case, make sure you tell them not to touch anyone else's slide. Maybe you do a video chat if you host a video chat as a way to share. And then Padlet is another option. Reflecting here, I would collect these through a Google form if it was me. But this gives you an opportunity to have students reflect on what they're learning. What have they learned? What do they know now? What maybe would they do differently? How would they like the assignment to be structured differently? So that's a good time to get feedback from kids. One thing I forgot to mention on the apply is that the kids have choice. You want them to have choice there of how they apply. Extending is the final piece of the Hyperdoc. How can they use this information to go deeper into learning, think enrichment, think higher level thinking? So think about your priority standards. You want to definitely base your Hyperdoc around priority standards. I've provided some links that are in the comments box on the very first slides of these slides. So if you look at those links, you can go to hyperdoc.co and you can look at different templates. You can look at different samples. Those are all under resources. Some are already done. You might want to use somebody else's Hyperdoc. And what does the design look like? So how will you share the Hyperdoc with students? I'm suggesting everyone use Google Classroom. So everybody, all the students, teachers are using the same communication tool. And that way everything's in one place for them on the receiving end. How will you interact with students to provide feedback? So that can be done a few different ways. That can be done by email. That can be done by private comments in Google Classroom. You could, if you're sharing slides, if they're on slides, you can type in the comment box. If you're on a Google Doc, you can comment on their Google Doc. So there's lots of different ways you can provide feedback. Think about how that might work for you. How will you collect their thoughts, their works, and their products? So if you're using something like Padlet, that's a good place to have everybody's work go to one board. If you're not using Padlet, you could always have a Google form that's just the submission Google form that is actually put on the bottom as a link on the Hyperdoc so that all of their work goes to one spreadsheet. Every student, every assignment they do, everything goes to that one location. So they could upload screenshots, they could put in links, they could share links to shared documents, but all of those things would go to one spreadsheet. So all the work is in one place. What I suggest is not have kids email you their work. Creates kind of a confusing workflow for the teacher. So to keep things simple for you, think of a one reciprocal that everybody can post their work to. And then think about how many clicks it will take you to get to that student work. So keeping it simple. So as you're thinking through that apply section, think about things that they could do, conducting a project, applying a solution, analyzing information, synthesizing, describing common ideas, designing models, but really be thinking in that depth of knowledge 3 and 4 area so that students are really being challenged to do something and create something. So that's kind of a crash course in Hyperdocs. If you have questions, please email me. My email is lindsaystevenson@smsd.org.